This is a scene at the Battle of Dresden. The time has just turned 5:20 and the Russians were the first to go on this particular manoeuvre segment. They've just completed their manoeuvre segment. What happened was, you can see the Russian forces now come off the main road down there and they're pushing, carrying out their plan, which is to try and take all this clear ground up here and make the way towards the windmill heights and try and attack the Dresden village and town from the top there. What happened in this turn was these units up here, they attacked this skirmisher for the French, and the French skirmisher has been pushed back, and the Russians are just staying out the range of the opportunity charge from this cavalry down here. So the opportunity charge range for the cavalry is 2. And there was a fire attack down here from these skirmishers onto those French skirmishers, but tantalisingly, they was 0.5 of an increment away from actually getting a hit there. So the defence was just a bit too strong for that unit down there. Had they rolled one higher on the die, there would have been 100 damage down there, but it wasn't quite working. The reason why I like this scenario in particular, as well as the Dresden, is because it's quite suitable for solo players, because the French side really are just in defence mode at the minute. They don't really need to attack. They can do, but certainly when it gets to tomorrow, when the main siege starts, they'll be in defensive mode primarily, so the solo player can really look at the Allied forces and see how can they pick out the weak spots on the French side, which is what we're trying to do in this particular game. So that I think when the French manoeuvre unit comes out, they're not going to be making a huge effort to try and put the Russians back, because they've got good defences in the village down there. They've got a few artillery pieces up on the hill there, so that could start firing at some of the units down here. It looks like there's a line of sight blockage up there because they're going through sort of valley, these troops down here, so the Russians need to clear that pathway down there to try and attack the windmill heights. The French really need this regiment up, and they're about 2 turns away, so come the 6 o'clock turn they should be on the windmill heights. So I think the French for this time, they're just going to do more defending. How do I make use of that cavalry? Well, I could deploy it as a skirmisher, and then it would have be able to fire out of 5 different frontal hexes. But the trouble is, as soon as cavalry takes 1 hit, they need to take a morale check. If they take 1 hit from fire combat, and there's a few decent units up there that could fire at them. So I don't really want to see the cavalry running off at this stage, else the Russians look like they could overwhelm this top section here. So I think the cavalry does need to defend at this stage. They don't need to risk themselves, I don't think. If they was going to try and charge, I mean, they could try and charge that leader up there. That's rough, I believe it is. So yes, that's the leader of the division of the Russians up there. So potentially they could see that as a weak point and try and get the leader removed from the table. But if that happens, Peter Wittgenstein is more than capable of taking over, and he's just stacking with his cavalry at the minute. They're just waiting as well. So I don't think there'll be a huge amount happening this turn for the French. There might be a bit of fire combat, but if there is any action, I'll let you know.